ALAC in the United States of America means very little for us in the sense of a rate change. It is more for the banks to try to get their situation straightened out and no more sanctions. Frank, I agree to a certain point, but I also disagree to another point. Emo, this meeting in New York may not release a new exchange rate, but it is definitely part of the monetary reform. This meeting will accomplish steps that are necessary to release the new exchange rate. Your banks have to be stable and secure and free from the corruption of Parliament, and they must be ready for the new exchange rate. That's what they're doing. Al-Moshadani announces the approval of the majority of deputies to his nomination for the post of Speaker of Parliament. Now it is waiting for a vote. Let's see how long that takes. I do believe the optics of having all three presidents in place when they fully open the doors to the world with their real effective exchange rate, would be well accepted globally. Investors would likely see it as security and stability. Iraq's Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani chaired a meeting of the High Committee for Tax Reform, so when they reviewed it they found there was a 22% growth in tax revenues. This means the economic reforms they are working on are working. This one is really big news. Government advisor explains the possibility of using the dinar instead of the dollar in oil sales. This is a very good article in that it talks about the risks associated with pegging the dinar to oil prices. Instead they plan to repeg to a basket of international currencies from the top developed nations. This much less risky and is much more stable. Besides, this is the Dr. Shabibi and IMF plan for Iraq. Article quote, will it be a fixed exchange system supported by foreign reserves, or will it be a flexible exchange system in which the petrodinar changes with the change in oil prices? I love this. It reinforces again they are not going to peg the dinar to the price of oil. Nonetheless, this tells us they know they must do something and do it soon. The Development Road project is going forward whether you like it or not. Iraq is going international, they just haven't yet. They're not on the Forex, but are they going to be there? I think they're going to be there, quite soon. Dollar prices continue to decline against the dinar in Baghdad markets. Quote, the selling prices in the exchange shops in the local markets in Baghdad recorded a decrease, as the selling price reached 149,750 dinars, while the purchase price reached 147,750 dinars for every $100. Bank friend talked to his boss and he says when you print new currency it raises your inflation. We have low inflation in Iraq. We don't want to raise it. We don't need any new zero notes. We have already spent over $50 million on printing new notes. Frank, Emo, those lower notes are so close to being given to the citizens of Iraq. The chatter out of Iraq stays fantastic. We keep hearing stories about lower denominations in the streets, but people who are physically there say no, not yet, but that they are physically prepared for them. There has been a grinding juggernaut of progress in Iraq. Things do continue to move. We have to hope that the Central Bank of Iraq continues to accept the guidance and directives from the IMF. Doing so would allow the currency to rise gradually over time as the economy grows. Important reason the IQD is not on the Forex market is that the Central Bank of Iraq has implemented certain restriction on the exchange and trading of the Iraqi Dinar, making it less accessible for Forex traders. Will the CBI change these restrictions and allow the IQD to be traded in the Forex market? We do not have an answer to this question. We hope so. Secure a sustainable water future, develop irrigation systems, and address the impact of climate change on rivers, without disclosing its financial cost. Why in the world would they not disclose the financial cost? If they told you it was going to be at 1,310, would they be telling the truth? Probably not, they're not willing to tell you what the value of the currency is. What is Iraq supposed to do by law, commercial business, in what? The dinar. They're not willing to tell you how much it's going to cost. I think that's a hint. Sustainable water for the future is most definitely going to be an issue. Reuters reported on Thursday that Iraq intends to reduce its oil production to between 3.85 million and 3.9 million barrels per day in September, as part of a plan agreed upon with the OPEC Plus alliance to compensate for production exceeding its share. According to Reuters, the Iraqi cut will put pressure on the oil market ahead of the planned production increase by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and its allies, known as OPEC Plus, starting in October to begin easing some production cuts.